What's up, guys? So welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing a bunch of story times in one video about different hunts I went on and different things I have hunted. But before we get started, one thing, deer season is coming up this Saturday, and I got my bow all set up and all my equipment already set up for deer hunting this Saturday, so goody me. And also, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. If you're old, you know what to do. So this video, I'm going to be showing different pictures, just telling you the stories about all these hunts and how a pain in the ass they were. Different coincidences. I cannot speak. But let's go ahead and get to the first picture. Let's do it. So this first picture we got here is me holding a pheasant by the neck. A male pheasant by the neck. So the story of that hunt actually was, we had went on this hunting preservation that does a lot of more bird hunting than it does anything. That's all it is a bird. And it's actually the next county over. So somebody had invited us to this bird hunt, and my dad told us like 2 days, 3 days before, he's like, hey, y'all want to go on a pheasant hunt? And I said, sure, why not? Never hunted it before. Don't know how big they are. It's like a hunt. So we went, and what they do, before I even go on, pheasants ain't from around here, where I live in North Carolina. They're kind of more like in the middle of the damn country, I think. I'm not too sure. I don't do research on them. If I hunt them, I hunt them. But the pheasants, I guess they buy them and they bring them to that place and they set them in cages. And they take them up in this tall ass tower. And they throw them out and you shoot them. So, and there's different pegs, and what pegs are is different spots you sit in. And you can buy your own peg and you can just stay in that spot, or you move around. And that's what we did. We moved around in a whole circle for the entire, I guess, hunt. And they went in and started throwing the book. Oh, I can't speak. So they start throwing these birds, and they just pick them up and they just throw them out of any direction. And I heard that I think they're blind. The people are blindfolded or something, and they just throw the birds in a random direction. I guess, I don't know. So the bird flies over you, you just shoot it. And some people had dogs and crap. So the first few birds they threw out, I got a few shots, but I didn't hit them. But as we were getting about halfway in the circle, we started shooting. We started actually hitting them the first shot. But other people would shoot at them and it would kill them. So about the time we get to this one peg, there's this building. And they let out with this one, I think it was a female pheasant, and it flies over. My little brother shoots it, kills it, one shot somehow, and the bird just glides and it hits a building. It hits this little metal shed. You can hear it, boom. And mind you, these birds sound like little planes hitting the ground, and they're as big as roosters. So you think about that, how and what the noise is of you hearing just that bird hitting the ground. And then we get to probably, we still had like 2-3 more pegs, I think. And this one female pheasant comes and they make these weird noises. I stuck my gun on straight up and I went bam, bam. And the female pheasant dead, goes in the woods, some dog grabs it. And then before I can even reload, another pheasant comes my way. I shoot it. I miss because I'm not the best at bird hunting. all I was told before the hunt is put the bead on the shotgun right on their noses and just shoot, and the pellets curve and hit them. That's what I was just told by my dad, because I guess he'd done a lot of bird hunting when he was younger. So after we did a few more pegs, my dad wanted to get a picture of us holding just a pheasant, so I picked up a male pheasant, just some random male pheasant, and just hold by the neck and take a picture. And basically that was a picture right there. And my brother did one. I think he had a female pheasant. I'm not too sure. But after that, we go in for lunch. We eat lunch. And then they cut, while we're eating lunch, they skin and cut all the birds up. And they hand out meat to everybody. And we got some pheasant meat. I think we got like a few breasts. Like probably a bag of breasts. So whatever y'all PETA motherfuckers are thinking, like we just shoot them for sport, no. As I said, after the hunt, we eat lunch. There is an afternoon hunt, but we did the morning hunt. And whatever, it don't matter who shot what bird. They just handed out meat. They just shared out the meat. Give everybody meat. And some of them leave, some of them stay for the afternoon hunt. It was a good hunt. I liked pheasant hunting. Kind of like one of the best bird hunts, even though that was my first time bird hunting. Probably one of my best hunts ever, most funnest. So let's get to the next picture. So this picture right here, as y'all see, it's a dead crow. And this is the story on that. So this is what I have to deal with every night. But anyway, this crow right here. Got it! But anyway, so my grandpa was having a lot of problems with crows because he would plant a few things and not even like it. As soon as they started sprouting, gone. And these crows were just all over the place. He calls me up one day and he's like, "Hey, can you come get these crows? Get rid of them somehow?" I said, "Yeah." So I called my cousin. I said, "Hey, can you come pick me up?" He's like, "Yeah." So I grabbed my shotgun. I grabbed a couple shells. I grab a speaker and a bunch of my black shirts. And we go over there. I throw out, I was using my black shirts as decoys. So I just throw them out everywhere. Which, how his house works is my cousin's house, his house. And then if you go into the woods, there's like this little field that he cut out years and years ago. And then there's just woods. So I throw out a bunch of black shirts. I cut on a Bluetooth speaker, get it ready. And I can already hear the crows crowing or just screaming. So what I do, I start playing a crow call, and this one, and I looked up a bunch of videos about crow hunting. You're not supposed to shoot the scout, but I did anyway. So this crow, in North Carolina there's two crow seasons. There's one during the winter and one during the summer. I know nobody hunts crows around here. I know that for sure, but I was the first one, I guess. And the scout comes along and he circles us. And I told my cousin, I said, "Get ready." And the crow comes around. I stick up my gun and go, BAM! And he goes away. I'm like, well, shit. He comes back around and I shoot him again. Drop him. So we cut off everything. We put everything back in the bag. And I go in the woods to go look for him because I have a good idea where he dropped. And when you walk in the woods, it's like a swamp. So I start walking through there and I'm getting wet. And I stop and I look, there's a cottonmouth. He's going across the water. I'm like, holy shit. So the only shell on my gun, I shoot the cottonmouth, and my cousin yells out, "What was that?" I say, "Oh, it's just a damn snake." So I go further and I'm like, "Well, I can't find this." So as soon as I turn around, I look down, crow was sitting right there. I'm like, well, I'm blind. So I pick up the crow, go out to the field, and I dropped him. And I said, well, we got him. And I think after that, my grandpa said he hadn't seen a crow in a few days after that. And funny fact, if you'll look, that's actually him. That's the one I actually shot. That's the one in that picture. I kind of mounted his ass. So yeah, I did take the breast off him and try to eat him. I'm sorry, but crow's probably disgusting. It's the most disgusting fucking bird I have ever ate in my life. But hell, I didn't put him all the way. Still, I mounted his ass. So let's just go on to the next story. So this picture right here, we got 3 quail lined up. So this story of the hunt, we had went to the same guy who told us about this pheasant hunt told us about this guy that raises and owns a bunch of quail, and he does hunts every year. So we get invited, we go over there, and we have a few of our buddies from the fire department over there. And the guy who invited us, he was there with his dog. And we all have shotguns except for the guy who owns the land and the guy with... Shut up! And so he has 19, I think somewhere around 19 quail out there. And we can even see him. He was taking the quail and doing that with them and throwing them. I'm like, what in the hell is this guy doing? And my dad tells me, he's like, oh, he's making them dizzy so they don't fly away as soon as he gets them out the cage. I'm like, oh. So the dog that this guy has, there's another dog out there. They start moving around, and these are pointer dogs. So when they get up to know where the quail is, they just point with their nose, and we just rattle it up. The quail fly and we shoot them. So we got a few quail shot. We missed a few. Then this one that flies away, one of my buddies and my little brother shoots it. I'm telling you, this quail blew up. And I know it blew up into pieces. But as soon as the quail fly out, they point their guns and bam, bam. And we couldn't find that but we couldn't find that quail because it exploded. So then they shoot another one that was hiding up in a damn tree. And we tried looking for it, and we found it in a ditch, alive. So the guy grabs it. He's like, you want to shoot it? He's like, I haven't seen you shoot yet. I said, yeah, might as well. So he throws it up, and I shoot it, and it blows up again. And I don't know why he threw it that close, but yeah, I just shot it anyway. So we shoot at a few more. We get probably about half the quail. There's like still kind of more that kind of flew out in the woods that we couldn't get to. So yeah, that was a good hunt. Short story, but yeah, hell, it was a good hunt. Let's get to the next one. So in this picture, you see me holding a squirrel like that with my shotgun and another hand doing that. So my cousin, the same one that helped me shoot that crow, he don't necessarily hunt too much, but when he does hunt, he's usually hunting with me. So I said, it was still during squirrel season, like a year or two ago, and he was hanging out with me. I said, hey, you want to go on a squirrel hunt? Because I just went squirrel hunting more and didn't get nothing. I said, hey, you want to go on a squirrel hunt? And he's like, yeah. So I grabbed the shotgun, I give him my 22, and we go out in the woods. So we're just walking, stalking. We see a few squirrels. And it was late season, so the squirrels are up in their nest. So we're walking deeper and deeper, going through thick ass bushes. And he's like, hey, you see that big ass nest up there? So I look up, I said, yeah. And not knowing a squirrel jumps over us and jumps in that nest, I said, now I know where he's hiding. So we sneak up to this dead tree. There was only half of it left, and the nest was sitting up there. I said, hold up 1 second. So I hit the gun against the tree, and he runs out, and I BAM! And I shoot him dead. And the squirrel drops, and he starts just squirming everywhere. He's like, holy shit, he's still alive. I said, no, he ain't. And the squirrel stops. I pick him up, and he's still breathing. So I just, because you gotta, if you were an animal, go ahead and just put it out. Don't just sit there and stare at it. Just, probably not for a deer. You might want to cut a deer's throat. But I dispatched that squirrel with my hands. And so I take a picture with it with him, obviously. He's not in there because he's camera shy. So we go back with our kill. I skinned it up, eat it, take out all the damn shotgun pellets. And that was it for that one. I mean, it was a pretty short one too. And plus we got some more pictures of squirrels, which actually there's one that has a distinct story to it. So this squirrel right here, as you can see, its head is probably halfway blown off. So this was actually after that pheasant hunt. I had just got home from that pheasant hunt. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go squirrel hunting. So I grabbed this 410 shotgun I have, the old 410. I load up, I grab 3 shells, put one in my shotgun, and I go out in the woods. And this is probably a few days before we killed that squirrel with my cousin. So I see this nest. I said, you know what, I'll knock on it. So I knock, nothing comes out. So I take a stick and start poking it. Squirrel runs out, but I didn't think he was that close, and I shot. And I see him drop, and there's just blood everywhere. Further inspection, I blew half his fucking head off, and I was only like 2 foot away from him with a 410 shotgun. I said, well, shit. So when I skin him up, I couldn't use. When I skin squirrels, I keep the pelts along with the head, nose, tail, feet. I'm like, shit. So I cut around his neck, cut his head off, and I take the pelt and the tail, I tan it, get it ready for tanning, and I gut it and take it in the freezer, do my tanning for the pelt, and then cook that squirrel. That squirrel, he was a fat one. I know he's been eating good. But let's get to the next story. So this picture, this coon I'm holding up by the ears. So this coon, he is fairly aggressive. As soon as I came to the trap, he was already splashing around, jumping. He was aggressive. And I got a video of him making a really just noise. He's on my old intro. I'll just go ahead and show y'all to it now. Oh shit. So this picture right here. Last year's first day of deer season. So it wasn't necessarily the first day of deer season, the first day of gun season, which means I can run dogs. We didn't take my dogs that day just because we didn't have a dog box whatsoever. So we started hunting with the club, and we're getting a deer, and they said a deer just ran. So me and my dad get in this position. I get in the back of the truck, and I put my foot right there, and I have my gun, and we hear the deer coming. And they said, deer's coming your way, Bill. So I get up, get ready, and we sit there, and we're like, where the hell is this deer going? We're thinking different things, and me and my dad start hearing something running. I'm like, what is that? He's like, that's the deer. So there's this, where I was shooting, there's this ditch, and it goes to a second ditch, a little path. So I stick my gun up, and the doe walks out, and I'll boom, drop her ass. She does a whole flip. And further inspection, I hit her all across her shoulder and neck. And my dad gets on the CB, he's like, hey, we got the deer. And the deer's still alive, somehow, after I just peppered it in the shoulder and the neck. So my dad's like, go ahead and get down there and cut her damn throat. So I grab a knife and I get in the ditch, and this water is like past my knee. And my boots start getting stuck, so I finally get to that separation where it's not too deep. I get to her, I pull her up, and she almost kicked me in the face a few times. So I pull back her head and I cut it. She's still alive. Well, obviously. So she's still alive. He's like, did you cut her throat? I said, yeah, I showed him. And he's like, you cut her in the wrong spot. I said, oh shit. So I cut in the right spot, and he's like, all right, go ahead and bring her up so we can get her out this damn ditch. So I grab her back leg and I start dragging her through the water, and she kicks me in the back of the damn leg, like right in the back of the knee, and that shit hurt. So I kick her back, which I know is just her nerves, but I decided to kick her back, and my dad's like, he started laughing. So I finally get the deer where I want it. I take a toe strap and I hook it around her neck, and he starts pulling her up. And I fall, my foot gets stuck, and I fall in the water. And my dad's like, Papa. I come up and I'm like, good God Almighty. He starts laughing. He's like, you disappear? I said, no shit, Sherlock. So we get the deer up, and everybody starts pulling up, and the dogs come that way, and we start gathering up the dogs. And we asked, and then after that day, we asked anybody if they wanted a deer. Nobody wanted any. So we skinned it, took it home, and I took the pelt. Tan deer pelt first time went horrible, but I kept her head, which I don't know where the hell her head is. There's a giant hole in her head where I cut out her brain for brain tanning. But yeah, pretty nice. So this deer right here. I killed it last day of deer season last year, the last day. So we was hunting with another club, which we knew because we hunted it a couple years ago. And last day of deer season, we're running dogs, and bunch of beagles and walkers running, probably about a good 30 head of dogs. So we hear the deer running through, but I can't see it. So I'm like, well, crap. And then we hear a shot, which it was a four-way road. My dad and me were sitting right here. Some other guy was sitting on this road, and we hear a shot, and I just see the deer just come down the road, and I shoot. Deer takes off running. So I hop in the truck, and we chase this deer down 2 different blocks. We were hitting through the back roads, hitting through the boundary roads. And this deer's just running it. I'm talking about running. And it's way past the damn dogs and everybody else at this point. So me and my dad get past her because we lost her for a few seconds. So we get past her, get on this one boundary road. Because kind of the boundary roads are like that. So we get on this part of the road where it's separate boundary road from the game land and the hunt club. So we get there, I jump out the truck, I stick my shotgun, and he's like, she's right there. So she comes into the ditch, comes out in the middle of the road. Before my dad says a word, BAM! And about this time I had switched to a different buckshot because we couldn't find the 3-inch that we usually use. So I get Remington, the shells are right here. Oh no, it's Federal. I'm an idiot. It's these shells right here. They're Federal, double aught buckshot, 2 3/4, and they're super shots. Is what it said on the box. And she had stumbled like a drunk person coming out the bar at 12 o'clock at night. And my dad shoots. I shoot one more time. She was already dead, but we both missed. So my cousin and my little brother, this was my other cousin, and they come around and they help us get this deer. And further inspection, she was a little bit of a smaller deer than I expected. A little bit smaller doe. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And me, there's a thing where people say it's brown is down, but what me and my dad always told us growing up, even though we were little, I mean, he didn't care if we shoot a little, like, not a little deer. But whatever deer came out, he just told us to shoot it. But as we got older, he always told us anything that's probably, say I'm 6 foot, anything that's probably a little bit smaller, probably than your waist or about at your waist, just don't shoot it. Which those ain't baby deer. they don't have spots on it. They're like, I don't know how you describe it, but he always told us not to, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, that's the one thing my dad did not want me to do. Which, the reason I had shot was more of excitement and adrenaline. So so I walk off, I'm like, oh shit. Got up! And he's like, you're alright? I said, yeah, I just want to guess what you told me. He's like, look, it's already done. Don't worry. So he's like, look, you probably didn't mean to shoot it because I shot before he said a word. And he's like, look, it's already done. He didn't tell me like, don't do it again. He's like, look, it's already done, but at least you got a deer in the last day. I'm like, yeah. He's like, no one won't say nothing. So we take deer back to camp after everything's done and over with, getting the dogs. And further inspection, when I cut her open up, her heart and lungs were mush. I said, good God. Because when I shot her, she did this right here. She literally jerked to the side. And it was, holy shit. So I take her pelt. We split the meat with everybody. Last day of deer season, we all go. I tan the pelt for a couple days. It takes like a week and a half just to tan these damn deer pelts. But it came out perfect. It's actually over there. I don't know if it's right here, which y'all can't see it. But yeah, that was a good last day. With the new season of deer season this year. So bow season's coming up this weekend, and I actually got my bow right here. Last time I saw my bow, it was pretty just simple. I had nothing on it, but now it has a few things I had just put on it. I had put on a balancer and a quiver for my arrows. And I've been spending like from last Wednesday to like today sighting this damn thing in, which is about hard, but I'm not the best at sighting damn bows or rifles. But it came out perfect how I want it. Shot a few more times today and it hits perfect, just a little high, so I just have to adjust a few things and it should be good to go. And went back on the drawback weight, put more drawback weight on it, and I had to reset it because I did it like twice, so I had to re-sight it in. But everything should be good. Everything should be good this year. I'm hoping. Last year, seeing fawns walking around in the middle of rifle season. And I hope trapping squirrel season goes this year. I'm going to be posting a lot with squirrel hunting once it comes around October 12th and deer season. I'll be doing a lot of hunting videos, even though I said last year and the year before I would, but this year I'm going to. But guys, if you want to see more, keep the update on the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family. Hell, tell the deer down the street that I'm coming for them. And I'm coming for them hard this yeyear. This is Bubba3681 out, and keep it freaking redneck.
The good old boys wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.